We are all concerned about the collapse of the oil prices. What's your point of view on whether the industry should receive federal help, and what would that help look like?
So we actually tried to allow the purchase in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in the CARES Act a month ago now. The House blocked that and wouldn't allow us to be able to do that purchase. That would have stabilized prices, and it was very unfortunate the House wouldn't allow that to occur. But what we're trying to be able to do is do several things. One is allow energy companies to be treated the same as everyone else. If they're a small business and they want to get access to the Paycheck Protection Program, they can do that as well. But they would also be able to get funding through the Main Street funding, which is a loan program, and they would be able to have access to that also the same as every other business. Some of the folks in the House are pushing back and trying to prevent energy companies from getting access to that funds. We made it very clear in the CARES Act, everybody's available for that. I do think we need to do a large purchase in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. I've been on the phone with multiple senators trying to be able to work this out. On the phone with the Secretary of Energy and the Department of Energy, trying to be able to figure out the best way to be able to try to get this accomplished. That helps us in the supply shock that we have right now.
Yeah, I actually worked on this for months, and we had, in the original CARES Act, we had a big purchase of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Obviously, that doesn't solve everything, but at least stabilizes prices somewhat here in supply issues here in the United States. We had a huge purchase for that, and Democrats in the House actually blocked that. But that was in the original CARES package. It was not a proposal. It was written into the text, and they demanded to take that out, and they said what they would want instead is the Green New Deal put in there and said, if you're going to do anything to help anybody in energy companies, we want the Green New Deal, which is absolutely absurd. What they're basically saying is, you know, we'll help the energy companies now as long as we know we can kill them tomorrow. And so we obviously couldn't go for that. We had to be able to get the bill passed, but we're still trying to get that done.
Oklahoma Senator James Lankford says when it comes to reopening, we should stay focused on the data and not try to aim for specific dates. Senator Lankford says there must be more testing in place and the ability to trace individuals who test positive. But he says people need to be able to go back to work, and the government cannot afford to keep passing stimulus packages.
We do have to restart. Now, there's a wise way to do it. But we do have to be able to work towards a slow re-engagement in the days ahead.
What would the president say about our state preparing to open certain businesses tomorrow?
So we'd have to ask the president, obviously, for that. My understanding from the governor's comments yesterday, his press conference, are there are a few places that are opening tomorrow, but phase one really begins May the 1st. That's when we really start the first phase of trying to be able to reopen. So it's very targeted, very few spots for tomorrow, but phase one really beginning May the 1st. So that lines up with where Tulsa, where Oklahoma City is, and multiple other communities. This is a phased approach, should be a phased approach, and we'll see if we can't protect people and also try to re-engage the economy slowly.
If you've got someone on a respirator, you understand the life and death issues that is COVID-19. But for others that literally they're watching their business and their livelihood and their savings collapse, it's also a big issue for them as well.
I am grateful in the structure of how Secretary DeVos put this together, because it really dealt with not the size of the campus, not the complexity of the campus, not the cost of the buildings, but of actually basing it on students.
Americans are different than many other parts of the world, and we lose track of that.
U.S. Senator James Lankford is taking on a new role, educator. In a new series of videos, he plans to teach young Oklahomans government and history lessons.
He calls it Lessons with Lankford. This week's topic is the Murrah building bombing. And the video, you can find that on his social media pages.
The Senate this afternoon passing another $484 billion relief bill to help ease the impact of COVID-19. The main features of that bill, another $310 billion to refill the popular Paycheck Protection Program that provides loans to keep small businesses afloat during the pandemic. $75 billion, that'll go toward health care providers and hospitals, and $25 billion will be spent on expanding testing capabilities. $11 billion of that will go directly to states.
In response to the passage of the bill, Senator James Lankford said in part, the legislation passed unanimously by the Senate today will help families keep paychecks coming and provide additional support for our Oklahoma hospitals.